You know, we're always told to follow our hearts. But what happens when your heart wants one thing and the life you've spent years building represents something else entirely? Today, we're going to talk about that exact moment, that crossroads where you're stuck between a stable, familiar life and this powerful, exciting, and maybe fleeting new emotion. I mean, that's the real question, isn't it? It's a battle so many of us face. You've got this whole life, a shared history, and then bam, someone new comes along. And it feels incredible. It's exciting, and everything in you is screaming, this is it. This is right. So, how on earth do you choose? And that's exactly what it is. It's that classic fork in the road. You've got one path that you know like the back of your hand, built over years, and then there's this other path. It's all passion and excitement, but you have no idea where it leads. It's one of those moments where your future feels both wide open and just terrifyingly fragile. Okay, so when your emotions are running that high, it is almost impossible to see the bigger picture. So let's try something different. Let's take a step back and look at what the actual data says about situations just like this. It might give us a much needed dose of reality. Because here's the thing about that rush of a new connection. It feels completely unique, right? It feels like you're the exception, that this is the one. That feeling is so powerful. But what's really surprising is the gap between how certain it feels and what the statistics show about how these relationships actually play out in the long run.
Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. You are doing important work.
Yeah, the data, it paints a pretty sobering picture, but it's an important one. Now, of course, every single situation is different, but the trends are kind of hard to ignore. Studies show that most relationships that start out this way, they don't actually end in marriage. In fact, a lot of them don't even make it past the 1-year mark. The patterns are definitely there. And even when these relationships do lead to marriage, the foundation they're built on can be, well, a little shaky. I mean, just look at this comparison. The divorce rate for marriages that start this way is significantly higher than for traditional ones. It just goes to show you that how a relationship begins really can have a lasting impact. So, if there's one crucial thing to take away from all this data, it's this. That incredible, exhilarating rush, it doesn't last forever. It just can't. Over time, that intense passion almost always settles down into something more stable, more familiar, more comfortable, which, when you think about it, might sound a lot like the relationship you're already in. So you're faced with this sobering data on one hand and a total whirlwind of emotion on the other. How in the world do you find any clarity? Well, it turns out there's a really practical framework designed for exactly this. A tool to help you basically talk to your future self before you make a decision today. It's called the 10-10-10 rule. And the idea is actually super simple, but it is so powerful. You make yourself stop and really think about the consequences of your choice in 3 different time frames: 10 days, 10 months, and 10 years. It's all about getting past that immediate feeling and looking at the much, much bigger picture. So these are our 3 checkpoints, right? The immediate aftermath, the medium-term reality check, and the long-term future. And each one gives you a totally different and totally vital perspective on the decision you're about to make. All right, let's actually do it. Let's apply this rule. How does the decision to chase this new passionate path really look when we put on these 3 different pairs of glasses? Okay, so in 10 days, things are going to feel intense. If you choose the new path, the emotions will probably be at an all-time high. It's that honeymoon phase, you know? Everything is driven by excitement, maybe relief, and tons of passion. The long-term consequences? They feel a million miles away. But now, let's fast forward to 10 months from now. This is where reality comes knocking. The day-to-day grind, bills, chores, work stress, all that stuff starts to creep in and replace that initial spark. The passion starts to level out, and you begin to face the actual, real-world challenges of building a life with someone new. And then, 10 years, a whole decade later, the new factor is long, long gone. You're left with the actual person, their habits, their flaws, all their strengths. The relationship isn't about novelty anymore. It's about what you've actually built together. Who is this person you're waking up next to, day in and day out? So after you've looked at the data and you've kind of projected yourself forward in time, that emotional fog can really start to lift. and the decision starts to feel less like you're just trying to escape your present and more like you're actively, consciously choosing your future. And honestly, this is what it all boils down to. Passion is amazing. It's a wonderful, powerful thing, but it is not the only thing you need for a partnership that lasts. The real question, the one that matters, is about long-term compatibility. Who do you actually see yourself getting through life's tough spots with 10, 20, even 30 years from now? So, in the end, the question isn't really who makes you feel more alive right now. It's which future, with all of its messiness, its joys, and its unavoidable challenges, which one are you truly willing to roll up your sleeves and build day after day? Because that, right there, that's the choice that defines a life.
Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. If you want to overcome betrayal, break toxic cycles, take control of your relationship choices, read How to Deal with a Love Triangle. The link is below the video.